Alrighty. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the studio this evening. And tonight, we're going to be painting my dog, Lulu. Well, not my current dog. Lulu has since passed, but my former dog, Lulu. Such a good dog. Let me say hello to everybody. Hello, Dwayne. Hello, Natalie. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Sadique. Did I miss anybody who's here right now? I think that's everybody who's put something in chat. Welcome. Hope you guys are having a great week so far. I was going to say a great start to your week, but we're midway through the week already. Whoa, Lulu's off center here. Sorry about that. This is Lulu, and I'll tell you the story of Lulu. Lulu came to us from a rescue. I think I mentioned last week that my wife and my kids used to go and visit the shelter quite a lot, and they showed up there one day, and Lulu was there, and she looked so pathetic and cute that they couldn't pass her up. So they brought Lulu home, and we had Lulu with us for a long time, about 6 years, 5 years, 6 years, a long time considering. We got her when she was 9, and she's been pretty fantastic the whole time. We had her. Let's see. I need to do something real quick here. Let me just slide that over a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Tonight I am using slightly different paper than I normally have. I'm using Humane paper, 9x12. Right, standard size, 300 pound, standard, or 300 grams, 140 pounds, standard stuff there. The only difference, if nobody has used this is neither wood pulp paper or cotton paper. This is, this is, I'm sorry. This is the Humane that is cotton paper. Okay, never mind. I was going to say this is bamboo, but this isn't the Humane that's bamboo. This is the Humane that is cotton. Okay. It looks like I missed Mr. Federal. Hello, Mr. Federal. Okay, so I'm going to jump in with Lulu here and see what we can do with her. As you can see, she's basically a couple of colors, right? And this is going to be a challenge for us. She's got black ears, black snout, and black nose. A little bit of smattering of black on the hair up there. And then it's this light tan, maybe a darker tan everywhere else. That's a challenge, right? We're very palette limited in what we have. So like we did with the painting of Josie last week, the body of Lulu is going to be a mix of burnt umber and yellow ochre. A little pool of that going here. And then we'll work in some neutral tint into her snout and some blacks onto or her nose, neutral tint on her nose and some blacks on her snout. That's how I'm foreseeing it to go. We'll see if it goes that way. And maybe underneath here, under her chin and along her nose here, maybe we'll just go right into some more pure burnt umber, but we'll see how that goes. Michelle says, I'll be interested very much to see how she comes out, as I had an English Bulldog, very much the same, that passed last year. I'm sorry. And I wanted to try and paint her. She was essentially white and red. All right, so let's see what we got. Let's give it a shot. I'm going to start up here a very loose, I'm doing wet on dry, but a very, very loose, very light layer of color. I'm not worried about going over her ears where they're black. I'm happy to go over that because we're going to come right back over top of that. Black over top of a lighter color, not an issue. So we can run into her ears and onto her snout pretty much as we want to, but I'm just trying to get some color onto her face, or onto her body, I guess. We can go around her nose, and I want to go around her eyes, and I'm trying to think, do I have any other updates for you guys right off the top? I'll give you an update on Lulu. I'm sorry, Lulu. I got Lulu on the brain. On Cha-Cha and Frida, my two little girl baby chickens. They're out of control. Michael's sound is bleeping in and out for me. Anyone else? Uh-oh. Yes. Is anybody else having problems with the sound? I can reset it here. I actually reset all of my settings. It's bleeping out for me too. Actually reset all of my settings about an hour ago. Okay, let me try this. Hold on one second. Okay, so you should be able to hear me. You should be able to hear me through a different microphone. I should sound different. And let me set it back to my good microphone. Okay, and now I'm back to my good microphone. And let me know if that makes any difference at all. I hope that it does. We'll see if that gets it out of here. I actually reset my settings for OBS here, my software that I used to stream with, and rebooted my computer twice. And Sudika says, I saw the screen freeze a couple of times. I don't like that either. Okay, let me know. Natalie, let me know if the sound gets any better for you, or anybody else, really. Seems to be better now. Okay, cool. Let's hope it continues to get better or stay better. And let's go with that. I'm gonna continue to paint some of Lulu here, and I'm not really. I'm kind of trying to stay out of the black area, but it really doesn't matter as long as I stay in the lines. On the outside of her body, I think that's going to be fine because so much of her body is this lighter color anyways. I just want to get that color on, and then as you've seen me do so many times in the past, we're going to come back and we're going to blend it in certain places, enhance the color in other places, and we'll really start to dial in some of the shading that's really gonna bring Lulu to life here. So I'm gonna keep going with this. And I do want to ask, this is Hanemule paper, right? This is a little different paper. Let's see, Mr. Federal says he never noticed an issue. Natalie says you restarted and fixed it. And Michelle, you restarted and fixed it. Let's hope you restart it and it stays good. Something weird is happening somewhere, I can tell, because I got a blip and then my viewership went from about a dozen down to 3, and it's sitting at 3. I'm going to keep painting whether it's 3 or 3 dozen. But the question remains, has anybody used Hanemule paper? It's not a normal paper. It is kind of a niche paper. Right? If you say name a watercolor paper, you'll get Arches, you'll probably get Canson, you'll get, I don't know, Bao Hong now, probably. Their paper has gotten pretty popular. You'll get Strathmore, but you likely aren't gonna have anybody say, oh, I use Hanemule paper. And it's kind of too bad. It's not bad paper. I had a bunch of, Natalie says you had a bunch of samples of Hanemule, and what did you think of the samples? I'm genuinely curious. At one point in time, I bought, this was a couple of years ago, I bought, I don't know, 6 or 7 different styles of paper or types of paper just to try them out and see which was better and which was worse. And I don't remember ever having a problem with this one. It's just one that I have never really dived. Somebody knows English. Dived into using. But when I opened up my pack, I had a painting that I had done there, and it was a fine painting. It was a plein air painting. It was totally fine. I didn't have any problem with it. And I don't recall not enjoying the paper. What I recall of using it is that it's not Arches. That's the worst thing I can say about it, because Arches is, I think most people think Arches sits on top of everything. Maybe some people like St. Cuthbert Mill or something like that, but Fabriano perhaps. But really, Arches is the king of all paper. Let's see, she's got some brown here too. Just let me scratch on a couple of colors in a couple of places. I've got a little extra of this color. I'm just gonna get you some extra color on here, Lulu. I'm just gonna keep it right off of your nose. There we go. And there she is. Whoops! I gotta get on the screen so you can see it. I've used Humane paper in a watercolor journal. How did that go? As have I. Okay, so I don't care about the spelling. I probably couldn't spell it any better from memory. I'd have to look at it. I don't even know where I put it. And it's got an umlaut in there. I'm not even sure on a standard keyboard how you get an umlaut. Nem. Ule. I don't know. I'm assuming it's German or something. Yes, it's German. Hanemule. My favorite, strangely, is Bauhung rough paper. There you go. Arches is fabulous, right? All right, Natalie, I'm with you on that one. However, I'm fine using cheap papers for most of my paintings. I'm also with you on that one. Although, if you find sales on things, oh, there you go. Dwayne found the umlaut. I don't know how you did that. You looked it up, and it's a series of keystrokes. I don't have that one on my keyboard. What was I saying? You can find some pretty good deals on Bauhung. I'm sorry, not Bauhung. Arches paper. You can find some pretty good deal on Arches paper, and it really makes it not so bad. Not so bad. I've got to wait just a moment for Lulu to dry a bit. I told Sadique as we were coming onto air that it is hold down the U on the iPad. Okay, thank you. I will do that. You just hold down that letter and you get options pop up. I have a standard keyboard. I don't have a. If I hold down the letter on a standard keyboard, it just makes more letters. I told Sadique it is 80 degrees in the studio at the time of broadcast here. Quite warm. I can't imagine it's going to take too long for the paint to dry, but we'll see how it goes. Lulu, I'm going to just give you a little bit of color here on your nose. I don't think you'll mind about that. I'm going to ask, right? How many people have a pet dog? How many people have a pet dog? I want to know how many people have a pet dog and what type of dog you all have. So I want to get a dog. I want to get another dog. There happens to be another pug at the rescue, and I threatened my wife that I might have to go down and rescue it. She wasn't overly enthused about that. I also did tell her I wouldn't. Why did I do that? I just wanted to do all one color. I wouldn't get another dog until I retire. because what ends up happening is that she ends up having to take care of it while I'm working, and then it's just, travels around with her the whole time. And if we were going to do that, we'd get a dog that she really wanted to get, and she doesn't really want to get a dog right now. So I think for the time being, I'm dog free. But I keep threatening. Everybody loves a dog, but not everybody loves a dog. Currently, we don't have any pets, so we can travel more. Completely, totally understandable there. Completely understandable. Me still have Yorkieton. He's nearly 15. Wow. Suke, about half and half. Okay, I did quick sketches for my nature journaling, so I have used multimedia paper. Okay, talking about the Hanmule paper, right. And let's see. Dwayne has 3 dogs, a Maltipoo, a Schnoodle, and a wiener dog. And a wiener dog. That's funny. Interesting choices. Not bad by any stretch, just interesting. Years and years ago, I dated a girl back when I was just out of college. Dated a girl who had an apartment kind of across the city. And the first time I went over to visit her at her apartment and see what it was like and whatnot, she goes, can you hold on a second? I need to go and feed my landlord's dogs. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Can I come with? Yeah, I want to see the dogs. I like dogs. And walked over there, and he had 3 wiener dogs, and they were huge. I always thought wiener dogs were little, skinny little dogs, and these were like, they weren't wieners. They were giant, fat sausages. See, Sadiqa, I have a boxer, Brindle. There you go. She was crazy, and I was totally nuts about her. That's great. That's great. Dogs are so good. Make our lives so much more fun. Okay. Now, this is drying. It's drying. While it's drying, nearly dry that is, I'm going to start to add a little bit of color in here. And it's okay if it runs just a bit. And give it some fuzzy edges here. It'll make it look like maybe there's some fur there or something. Light, light, light. Come on, Michael. Light, light, light. I don't want this to... I don't want this to be heavy. I want this to be in a couple of layers. I'd rather add an extra layer than have it blotchy. Extra layer rather than blotchy. I'm just getting my... You see me reach up over there with my hand. Just getting my brush wet so I can pull that edge out. I get it wet, I dip it in, tap it off, get it to the dampness that I want, and just pull that edge out. And it's going to give me a nice, long, graded wash all the way out. That's all I'm trying to do there. I don't want to do too much more with that. Oops, come on. Give me a little bit of color. I'm trying to mix this up in little batches, my color over here, in little batches. For one reason, it forces me to think about my color a little bit more because I have to mix it a little bit more often. And 2, it prevents me from doing what I just did, which was to grab a huge amount of it and put it on and then have to deal with it after it's on my painting. So 2 reasons there for trying to grab it in just little increments. Little tiny increments of color. That might have been a little too much right there. And if I do little increments, this is my own personal trick. If I do little increments, then I think, or I hope anyways, I can do a better job of controlling the color, getting exactly what I want there. That's the thought anyways. That's the theory. If it works out that way, it works out that way. Am I not even in the right area? Do I keep moving over here and you guys can't see me? I'm behind everything. Let me move this again. Come on, get over there. Move over there. That's probably going to be better. That's probably going to be better. Let's see, Natalie says, I painted a coworker's wiener dog's portrait as a wedding gift. Many years ago, the painting looked cartoonish. That's okay, but honestly, the dogs were cartoonish looking in real life. Sunika says, after my dog died, a neighbor had a watercolor portrait watercolor portrait done of my dog. The painting perfectly captured Mitzi's sassy spirit. That's fantastic. I've done other than the ones you've seen me do, I've done a couple of pet portraits, not too many. Couple. I don't know. I guess they were successful. I think, if he wants to say something, Mr. Federal here has one pet portrait that I did. If you want to say if you liked it or not, that's fine. If you're still hanging around, I don't know if you're still hanging around. I'm gonna hang a shingle out that says pet portraits and name a price. I don't know how much I would charge for a pet portrait. I don't have any idea what the going pet portrait rate is. No clue. All right. So trying to keep this on, as I said, in a little lighter washes, a little lighter colors. And you can see, even in doing those little lighter bits here, we're starting to build up a nice bit of color, a nice bit of definition. I just see something flash on my screen. It makes me nervous. Makes me nervous. I want to see something like that. Anyway, we're starting to build up a nice amount of, differentiation back here, some depth in all of this. You can see there's a difference between these different layers, except for maybe over here. Then don't look at that. We'll get to that. I promise. But it's starting. We're just starting to get a little bit on here. We're going to continue with that, and we're going to get quite a bit of this depth on here as we just build this up layer upon layer upon layer. And as I'm doing this, as I'm thinking about how I want to build up these layers, I want to make sure that however I do it, and there's a million different ways you could do this, but however I do this, I want to make sure that I leave dark next to light. Dark next to light, dark next to light. That doesn't necessarily mean I have to have, this be super dark and that be super light. They can be closer together, or they can be, a darker and a darker of a light color. This is going to sound weird. And a darker of a dark color, right? But I don't want the two values to be exactly the same. But I can play with that a little bit with the color value, if that makes any sense. It should make a little bit of sense. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a little room for interpretation in there of how all these colors need to fit and play together to give us the dimensionality on Lulu here. Let's see, we have a holiday coming up. It's Labor Day, right? Labor Day? Memorial. Yeah, it's Labor Day. Labor Day? It's Labor Day. And is anybody doing anything exciting for Labor Day? I hope somebody's doing something exciting for Labor Day. I want to hear that people are doing something exciting. I don't think I'm doing much of anything. So I'm not going to hold myself up as a great example of anything that's going on great, or a lot of anything that's going on. But I hope you all are doing something fun. That would be exciting. I'm going to live vicariously through you all. I think that's just as good. I'm going to hide. All right. Perfect. I guess that's one way to do it. You're going to hide. I'm going to try to find something to do with my oldest. Okay, so here's one thing I'm just noticing right now. I think the paint is going on here nicely. I don't have any problem with that. Not one problem with the way the paint is going on. But if you look, actually, if I flip it over this way, you'll be able to see it a lot better. Look, there's a pretty major warpage on the back. And I'm not doing anything more than I would normally do. So the paper seems to be a little lighter, a little thinner than maybe some of the other papers that are out there. Let's see, Lulu, I'm going to paint an ear on you here. Ooh, I can't do it. That's wet. Ooh, I can't do that. How about that? I'll do this one over here. And this isn't straight black. This is a mixture of the black that I have. And my black is lamp black. I believe it's lamp black. I don't have it out here. I believe it's lamp black and just a bit of the neutral tint. And if I have any of it in there, a touch of the sepia, just to make sure it's not cold black, right? That sepia will just warm it up that little bit, not really enough to brown it up, just warm it up ever so slightly. Now the ears are going to be interesting because they've got these big folds in the ear, or she's got these big folds in the ear. And if you look at the reference photo, oh, and I haven't pulled that reference photo up for you to see yet, have I? If you look at the reference photo, it's kind of hard to see where the flaps are on her ears. There you go. There's Lulu. There's a big picture of Lulu. Look at her. Such a beautiful face. And you can see those ears are just big kind of black holes there. And a little bit difficult maybe to see where some of the folds of that black are, but we'll figure that out. Let's come back. Let's come back. We'll totally be able to figure that out without too much trouble. And I think as a start, once we get this done, we've actually completed our first layer, haven't we? Oh, let's get this done. Let's get our first layer totally on here. And then we'll really kind of be able to judge how we're doing with Lulu. I hate to say it, if I get another dog, or when I get another dog, it won't be another pug. Sorry, Lulu. It's probably going to be a beagle. I grew up with beagles. I love beagles. I really would love to get another beagle. Okay, there's Lulu. Oh, you're looking good, Lulu. We can start to see, well, her nose got a little washed out as I started to get some of that black that comes down the side. That's okay. We're going to redo her nose, but you can start to see, right? Her head is starting to lift off the page just a little bit, right? Because of this color, her head comes up a little bit, and I suppose this under her chin doesn't hurt. And then it's really not fair. She kind of looks like she has a shawl on or something, but she has a harness on that I didn't draw in here. Whoops. But the harness kind of draws up her skin a little bit. So it looks like she's got a shawl on a little bit here. We'll kind of blend that down here to make that not so shawl-ish. And then her legs are starting to look good down here where they're you know, behind her behind her fat. Sorry, Lulu. Behind her extra rolls. Natalie says, I grew up with a Beagle Collie mix. She was the sweetest dog. There you go. She also liked hunting woodchucks. Well, Beagles and Collies, what a shock. Yeah, Beagles or hunting dogs. I don't know if Collies were ever really hunting dogs either, but I think they had a place in hunting. But yeah, hounds love to hunt and love to run and love to sniff and whatnot. They are an active breed, but they are so nice. Collies are herding dogs. Okay, there you go, herding dog. Oh, that's right, collies are herding dogs. But they're so nice. So herding dogs will. So basically, they're going to find an animal and run it around for forever. Herd the animal around. Let's see, this has got a little bit more. I'm going to do a little bit on her leg here. So you got a little bit of brown back here. Let's add some of that. Let's blend some out here. I'm going to work in a couple of specific areas going forward, right? And I'm going to try to do it so that we can work in one area a little bit wetter, allow for a little bit of. Oh, I got the shadow on the wrong side. That's okay. Allow for a little bit of time for the paint to do its thing a little bit, but allow everything else to dry. And hopefully, right? I'm going to say hopefully we can just continue to work right on around this whole thing as we're doing that. Come on, Lulu's toes. I'm going to paint Lulu's toes. I think that's a nice foot. It's a nice start on a foot anyways. Look at that. Oh, Lulu. All right. Let's keep going. Let's do this one over here. This one's a bit more of an interesting shadow because if the light is coming in this way, part of her paw down here, part of her leg is in light, but the part of it is not. And then up here, I'm just doing this badly. This part of her leg is in shadow. This part is in sunlight. And this part, the back part, is also in shadow. Because if the light is coming down this way, her body is going to cover up some of that, but not all of it. I think that was the worst explanation of light and dark I've ever given. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh, boxers were bred to hunt wild boars. No wonder they're so tough, or at least look so tough. They're out there dealing with wild boars. They gotta be pretty tough. I didn't know that. I had no idea about that. That's crazy. Wild boars. Has anybody here, let me ask this question. Has anybody here, bulldogs were originally for fighting bulls? Well, that would explain their name. I would not have thought that either, but it makes sense. They are really tough, but they are goofy as all get out. Has anybody here ever seen the movie Sideways? Sideways with Oh, I don't know what the guy's name. The guy he was on Wings, and it's got Paul Giamatti in it. I don't know the. Anyway, I read the book. I watched the movie when it came out. Fantastic movie, by the way. Paul Giamatti did a fantastic job, and the other guy did a great job. He was such a detestable person. You hated him. You hated him by the end of the movie. Well, you hated him halfway through the movie, but he played the part really well. Anyways, it's about the Central Coast of California, here where I live. It's all filmed here on the Central Coast where I live. And one of the things they do in the book, not necessarily in the movie, is they go out on a wild boar hunt. And I'm like, there's no wild boars here. I've never seen a wild boar. That's ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing wild boars all over the place. I've seen them in the wild. I've seen some of the stuff they've done, some of the damage that they've done to areas around here. And I'm like, maybe there was something to that. Maybe there really was a part of that story that was true. And it is. There are plenty of wild boar here on the Central Coast, and you just don't normally see them. But they are most definitely here. I was completely shocked when I learned that. Completely shocked. All right, we're starting on her ear. Give her some help on her ear. Lulu, you need a little help. A little help for you, Lulu. Now, I have to admit, yesterday, oh my gosh, yesterday, it seems like yesterday, I could tell you exactly what Josie's name was when we got her at the same shelter, coincidentally. At the same shelter. When we got Josie, I could tell you exactly what Josie's original name was before we renamed her. I don't think I could tell you what Lulu's real name was. It was something weird. I mean, not weird, just not. It was like Paula or something like that. Like, she didn't look like a Paula. It was something odd like that. But we took a vote as a family, and we all decided Lulu was 1,000 times better than whatever her name was previously. And so we renamed her Lulu. And everybody rejoiced. Because it was such a better name. And I don't know if pugs are supposed to be overly bright dogs or not. I'm sorry, Lulu, but Lulu was not the brightest dog in the world, but she was so sweet. Look, now I'm looking down here. These legs are starting to look fantastic. Look at that. I say, I'm going to pat myself on the back. Oh, these are starting to look fantastic. I'm doing a great job. I'm doing a job. I'm getting it done. We're building up little by little, Lulu. You're getting better. You're getting there. We're gonna have a contest in the family here. I've got all of the other pictures lined up of all the other pets, and we're gonna have a vote to see which one water painted the best. I mean, not which one I did the best, right? I'd like to think I did the same job on each of them. But which one turned out the best? I'd like to think I did the same job on each of them. Knowing that to your eye, one color or one shape is naturally going to be a little better, and one shape or one color is naturally going to be a little harder for you. So there's some variability there, but put the same effort in on all of them. Okay, so you can see that's like her back foot there. She's kind of standing on it, which she did quite a bit because she's weird. So you guys says your blending is fabulous. My blending is okay. I guess it's a sliding scale, right? I never think my blending is as good as I want it to be. Like right here, I just allowed this to get a little too hard, and now I feel like I have to come back. But I will say thank you. I do work hard, or have worked hard in the past, on really trying to make some good blends. I've talked about it plenty of times, I'm certain, about the amount of time that I used to spend just trying to get the colors to go exactly where I want them to go, or exactly how I want them to get there. It took a lot of practice, a lot of nights of drawing squares and rectangles and different shapes, and having my table at slightly different angles and trying to push the paint this way, or trying to push it that way, or trying to pull it this way, to really see how that paint moves and how I can, get it to go the way I want it to, rather than just kind of allow it to dictate to me everything that it wants to do. I'm happy to let the paint do a little bit of its own, but mostly I just wanted it to do what I want it to do. Have you thought about getting the pet painting framed, a pet gallery? No, I have not. I should do that. I'll put it on my I'll put them all on my wall in my office at work. I've got some extra space. It doesn't seem like I would, but I do have some extra space on my office wall. I could put some there. Always looking to put more on my office walls. I've moved out of my office into the common areas in my office, so that everybody else now has to see everybody else gets to enjoy my paintings. They now have the opportunity of their own to enjoy all of my paintings. It's fantastic. All right, Lulu, let's start to define what your nose is going to look like here, huh? Let's see how we're going to do this. She's got this weird thing. That's okay. Lulu, you're not weird. You're fantastic. It's just a little bit of your nose is a bit odd. There you go. I'm just want to start pulling some of this out. And actually, the more I'm looking at this, if I wanted to put a little bit more of the sepia in there, that's totally fine with me. It looks like we could use a little bit of it in there. So that's too much water. This black isn't really black. It's a dark color, but there's a lot of brown in it. It's quite a bit of brown. All right, let's pull that out a little bit. How far out do we want to go? I think we can go out pretty much as far as I have this drawn. Let's come out to here. And I think as we go up, we're going to put actually a little bit of this burnt umber up here. Change this color a little bit as it comes up. And I'm pretty much okay with that. I know somebody said something here. I'm gonna get to it in just a second. If you just give me a second, I'm gonna get to it. There you go, Lulu. Okay. I'm going to bring this right across the top here. Ooh. Right over your nose, Lulu. I have to say, Lulu was such a good dog. She would, right, so we had this when my kids were little, which, if you can imagine, meant the dog got dressed up a little bit. she often got some nice new clothes that she was able to wear from time to time. And she was such a good and gentle dog. I don't think she even cared. She was happy to be around you and to let you do whatever you wanted to. I think she always knew that she was never going to get hurt, right? Nobody was ever going to hurt her while she was here. You know, animals can sense that kind of thing. And she was just so happy to be part of the family that if we had wanted to dress her up as, God, well, she got dressed up as, I mean, she had costumes for all kinds of stuff, right? As many dogs do nowadays. She had all kinds of costumes for things. And she just didn't even care. She was like, fine. As long as you're spending time with me, let's play dress up, or let's put a hat on. One day I bought her some doggles, some dog goggles, so she could put her head out the window in the car without worrying about it, without getting bugs in her eyes, or she could put them on and run through the weeds at the beach without, you know, having the weeds cut her eyes there a little bit. Let's see. Sadika says, I covered the walls in my cubicle with nature photographs I had taken. Everyone's favorite were the ones from the national parks. Cool. I love that. Let everybody get involved in seeing what you do. I don't know at what point we all decided that whatever you do at home has to stay at home. You know, the whole corporate mentality. Whatever you do at home has to stay at home. Don't bring, certainly don't bring your problems to work, but it's kind of morphed into don't bring anything to work. I don't know where that ever came from. And it kind of bugs me that we do that. So as long as it doesn't get out of control, I love when the people on my team bring in stuff and put up on their office wall, their cubicle wall, or, if it's done well, shoot, put it up for the rest of us to see. Let's throw it up there and see what happens. I think it's fantastic. If you got a talent, let's show it off. Let's let everybody see what it is. Right? So many of us don't have a whole lot of talent in so much that we do, that let's celebrate those other people that do, and let's rejoice in that. But in that corporate world, we have a hard time doing that. I'm going to give you a little thing here, Lulu. How about that? Like she's got this little, like a constant, huh? Like she's got that eye going up, huh? What's going on, huh? So funny. So funny. Little pug. All right, let's get you some color around this other eye too. And we're moving right along with this. We're doing really well. I'm not sure how long it's taken us to get to this point. It feels like I started 10 minutes ago, but I know that's not true because of the amount of paint I have on here. This one you don't quite have as big of a thing here, Lulu. Let's give you a little one. And then I don't want this to get really into too hard of a line. I need to come back here real quickly. Just brush some of this off. Soften, 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 soften. I still hope I'm doing this somewhere where you guys can see me, and I've gotten the camera right. She's got these cute pug eyes. Look, oh, we make her look sad. Oh, Lulu. Are you guys just gonna let me stay here and make funny baby noises at the dog, huh? Okay, I see how you are. All right. I'll just stay here and keep doing it then. I'm just gonna keep making funny noises at my dog. Let's bring this down. Let's let this touch a little bit. Let's do that. Let's get rid of some of that jowl. A little bit of that jowl. I don't want to get rid of all of it. She's got quite a big jowl there, as most pugs do. But it's an adorable jowl. Let's see. Michelle says, well, I do that with my Maxie, but Millie was the more expressive dog. Okay. All right. I'm just going to keep doing it. You tell me when it gets to be too much. And I'll consider stopping. I do it with my chickens. I talk to my chickens like they're little kids. What they kind of are. They kind of are. They're so funny. The little ones have gotten so big. I'm going to cry. They've gotten so big. Oh, they're the little babies, which were roughly, I don't know, 6 ounces when we got them, are now about 2.5 pounds. Chicken fantastic. Chicken fantastic. That way they pay quite a bit of attention. I know how you get the chickens to pay attention. You take a little bowl of worms or scratch or something out with you, and you shake it, and they come running around. Oh, what do you got? Oh, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? They know when you got something for them, and they want to see it. Sometimes someone gave me a pink tutu costume. Oh no, for my boxer. The girl was more the type to wear camouflage. That's funny. I want to say we had a tutu for Lulu. We must have had a tutu for Lulu. We must have had a tutu for Lulu. I cannot imagine that we didn't. She had all kinds of stuff. And again, sorry, Lulu, but you loved it. Sorry, not sorry. And I think you would say the same thing. I'm certain you would say the same thing, Lulu. Now, so here's the funny thing. As I'm just continuing to put some color on, and this probably is a little darker than I wanted it to be, but it's going to be okay. So I told you last week that towards the end of her life, Lulu started going blind and a little hard of hearing, and she used to bark at everything. I mean, literally everything. Anytime she thought she heard a noise, she'd turn around and start barking. So my cat Gracie passed first, and Gracie got buried in the backyard. And yes, you're going to find out. We have a cemetery in the backyard. I want all of the family to be here with the rest of the family. So we're all here, for good or for bad. So Gracie was the first to pass, and she got prime spot in the backyard. So she's got the back corner furthest from any distraction. She's facing the house so that she can keep tabs on us. right? And, oh, Lily is here. Hello, Lily. Welcome. I'm just telling stories. So, Josie, I'm sorry, Gracie has the prime spot in the back, and then Lulu passed next, and knowing that Lulu makes a lot of noise and would bark and everything, Lulu got a good spot, but she didn't get the prime spot, and sorry, Lulu, she is not facing Gracie. She's not facing Gracie, so that she's not going to be barking at her all into the afterlife. And then we have another animal out there too. I'm trying to remember. We got another one out there. It went right next to Gracie, and also, Gracie and her friends. They're together, but not with Lulu, because Lulu's gonna bark at him the whole time. Lily, hello. Have you been here before? I don't know if I remember seeing you. Welcome, first of all. Sunny is here too, and Sunny, welcome. If you haven't been here before, let me give you the lay of the land. I sit here and I paint and I tell stories, and if you guys ask questions, I'm happy to stop my stories and answer questions about anything you guys want to talk about. If not, I'm more than happy to continue to paint and tell stories and talk about whatever it is I think we need to all talk about as a group. Thus encouraging you to ask questions to talk about other things. But if you don't, that's fine. You can ask questions about the painting. You can ask questions about any of my other artwork. You can ask questions about technique if you want. You can ask questions about paint, pigment, brushes, paper, anything you'd like related to watercolors. I mean, you can ask anything not related to watercolors too, but the chances of you getting a coherent answer the further you stray from watercolors kind of goes down a little bit. Sorry. I'm a lot better answering watercolor questions than I am some other things. Why did I do this way? Oh, I don't know. Okay, we're gonna. I think I gave her an extra chin here, and I don't know why I drew it that way. Maybe I meant to do this. Let's give you an extra chin here, Lulu. Just not a big one. I don't want to give you a big chin. There you go. Little and Sunny, be careful. You'll end up buying more paper paint and paper, right? Right. Okay. So if you guys have questions, awesome. Throw them out there. If you just want to say hi to everybody in the chat or not, whatever. I'm not going to push too hard on that. Not what I want to do. I want you to enjoy your time here and not necessarily be pestered by me. But if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to throw them out there. I love answering questions. Part of the reason I do a live stream like this is so that I get the interaction with everybody. I enjoy answering questions. It helps to make my Wednesday more fun and exciting when I can interact with other people. Instead of just coming into the studio and painting by myself, I can always do that. I'm happy to do that, but I think it's just more fun to do it with a group of friends around. So feel free to ask a question. But like I said, if you don't want to, you don't feel that you could or you should or you want to, totally fine. No pressure. No pressure. Okay, let's see. I want to get a little bit more dimension on these ears. A little bit. So I'm going to put a stripe of paint on them, and then I'm going to blend it back just almost all the way to the edge. I don't want a tide line in here at all. I want to make sure I've got the right amount of moisture on my brush. So when I pull it down, ooh, that didn't quite turn out how I wanted it to. It's a little hard for me to see that. I'll drop a little extra sliver of paint. on there. There's a little water on there. It should help pull some of that over. I'm looking up here and I'm looking down here to see what the difference is. This is probably going to be good enough. What colors are you running low on and why? Haha. Great question, Dwayne. Right now, I can tell you, well, I could. I'm running low on sepia. And I'm running low on olive green. Ooh, there it is. And why? Because I'm a moron. About a year ago or so, I went to reorder all the colors that I was low on, and I misordered. I ordered the wrong colors for some reason, and I got a couple of duplicates. But it's funny, I order them so infrequently. I've probably got, when it comes to Daniel, oh my gosh, I almost said Daniel Smith. When it comes to M. Graham colors, I've probably got 40 different colors. Would be probably a close guess. I don't know what the exact number is going to be, but probably in there. And I'm not even saying I've purchased all of those like at a Michael's or at a Dick Blick or anything like that. Lots of them I've gotten at estate sales or yard sales or whatnot. There's a lot of artists live around here, and it's easy to find. It's easy-ish to find a lot of colors, and so I'll get them back and I'll try them out, and I'll see the ones I like and the ones I don't like, and I use them sometimes and don't use them sometimes, but the ones that I've determined I really like are the ones that are in my palette. Right? From time to time I'll pull some other ones out just because I know it's kind of a cool color and whatnot. But these ones I use all the time. These are my standard colors. I'm constantly using these. What I would do without them, I don't know. But the pigment density in these paints is such that I don't have to buy them very often. Right? I can use one tube of this paint for, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, a long time. Especially if I'm only, doing a painting or two a week. It'll last for a long, long time, which is great. And then I'll go to order them and I'll do whatever. And like I did this time, I ordered them wrong, but I'll have enough that'll kind of make it for a while, and I don't think too much about it until the next time I fill up my palette, and then I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, how come I don't have enough of this other color? And then oh yeah, it's because I ordered the wrong ones last time and I didn't refill and whatnot. So why am I running short on those? Because like I said, one, I'm a knucklehead and I ordered the wrong ones last time. Yes, I know that's easily avoidable, but I did it anyways. And because they are colors that I always use. They're the ones that are always on my palette. They're always getting refilled. I bought Daniel Smith Cobalt Teal, then purchased it again thinking it was Cobalt Turquoise. Yes, stuff happens, right? Stuff happens. I'm not worried about it. It's just an oddity. I open up the Amazon box and I'm like, hang on a minute. I just bought this one at the store, at Art Central 2 days ago. Why did I buy that again? I don't understand what I did there. I don't know, little stuff like that. It's okay, but I've got another couple of colors. I think cobalt green that I'm going to need to reorder soon. I do think I'm out of that, or nearly out of that. That might be the only other color I'm really running short on at the moment. Usually I'm pretty good about reordering them when I need them. Pretty good. about it. Okay, show of hands. How many of you, this includes me, have bought duplicate tubes by accident? Me. I swear to you, I double checked. I know you don't believe me, and I wouldn't either. I double checked. I looked around to see what I had. I thought I even made a list at one point in time, and I went, oh, these are the ones I need. Boom, ordered them, and no, these aren't the right ones. These are exactly the wrong ones, but that's okay. They're going to get used, probably, at some point in time. It's just paint. It's going to get used over. It'll get used. I also know that I hid some paper from myself. Not really hid it. I think more likely what I really did was I reorganized my studio and forgot where I put it. And then bought some new paper and then went, hey, wait a minute. Months later, hey, wait a minute. I thought I repurchased this. Where did this come from? Oh, yes, I bought this a long time ago and set it down and forgot all about it. Like I bought that bow hung paper, which I'm still excited to continue to use. I bought that bow hung paper, and then 4 days ago, whatever it was, I was going through a drawer over here, and all of a sudden, holy cow, I got 2 extra pads of Arches watercolor paper. I don't remember that being there. Where did that come from? And then it kind of dawned on me, oh, I remember as I was rearranging the studio, I put it away so it wouldn't get in the way of anything. Nothing would happen to it, and then it promptly got forgotten. So not only did I reorder some colors that I needn't have, I reordered paper that I needn't have. But again, that's okay. Yova, welcome. Welcome, Yova. Good to have you here. Glad you could make it. Are you a watercolor fan? Just a art fan? Pug fan, maybe? Dog lover? Look at that face. Come on. Lulu. Look at that face with those sad eyes. Whoa. Oh, Lulu. Oh. I don't know who suggested this challenge or this. I guess I'm probably the one who made it into a whole month of things. But you know what I have to say? This is a nice walk down memory lane for me. Whoever suggested this, whoever thought of this, whoever did this, this was a great idea. It's me. This does my heart good to walk down memory lane and see some of my old pets that I haven't thought about in a while here. Lulu, and talking about Gracie and Josie and poor Penny. Such a great idea. Such a fantastic idea. Lulu looks awesome so far. Thank you, Dwayne. Another great tribute. The forehead wrinkles are getting there, right? They're getting there, right? They're getting there. I don't know if that's exactly that. Here, let's see. Oop, I don't know if it's exactly that, but it's not too far off. looking pretty good. Oh, let me come back. I got to get something to drink here. I'm really thirsty. I'm fascinated by this. This is Trader Joe's Italian soda, blood orange flavor. They're fantastic stuff. I love that. Whoop. Don't fall over. Okay. She's getting there. Lulu's getting there. Lulu. I want to give a little bit more color. A couple areas here. A little more color to a couple of areas. And then we're going to extend some of the dark black around. Let's see, maybe we'll do something like this. I don't want to just add an entire second layer of paint. I want to leave a little bit of a lighter gap here. But I want a couple areas that are a little darker, a couple areas that are a little lighter in here. So when I go over it, I have, the little bit of black that's going to come back from her snout a little bit. I have some different coloring underneath. I don't want it to all be the same under there. Not that that would necessarily be a bad thing. I think this will just make it, pop off a little bit better. We have some additional coloring, and as we're doing it, you give it a little extra color anywhere you're going to give it. Probably not a bad idea, right? In these areas where this dark is, probably is going to help to warm up some of this area. I'm hoping if I put this in here, it's going to help connect her eyes to her snout a little bit, for one thing, and keep it a little bit on the warmer side. Keep those eyes just a little bit on the warmer side. That's my hope. That's what I'm going for. I'm going to keep telling myself that, whether it's true or not. We're going to go with it. She's let's see, Michelle says she's coming out at 4 a.m. Haven't slept, so heading off. We'll see the rest on repeat for the finished painting. Michelle, thank you for joining. I know you're way far away over the ocean, so thank you for spending the time and staying up the vast majority of the evening to be here with us. Thank you so much. And yeah, see it, checking on replay, and hopefully she's going to come out and look fantastic when we're done with it. I'm sure she'll look good when we're done with her. I'm sure she will. How could she not, right? How could she not? Let's I'm going to try to connect a little bit of these areas here. I'll tell you exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to protect against this looking like she's got this big bag just kind of hanging there. I mean, she kind of does. That might not have been the best thing. She kind of does, but doesn't mean we need to accentuate that. Let's just make that a bigger, kind of a darker spot right there. Oh, what are we doing over here? Let's bring this down a little bit over here. This will help give her, the rest of her body over here, some dimension. Hopefully give her body some dimension over here. This should be down towards her legs down here, right? I just spent 5 minutes saying we want light next to dark. We don't want dark next to dark or light next to light. They don't need to be exactly the same, but it would help if they were slightly different, and then I didn't bother to make it really any different. Or it looks like I'm not really making it any different, but I think what we're going to end up with is something that'll be just different enough that we'll be able to see. That her body has some dimensionality to it. Let's pull this color in this way even a little bit here. Right? I'm just going to pull that in just ever so slightly. I don't want to take away all of the light that's there. All right, she's got like her shoulder here. This is the way I'm envisioning it. This might not be the way it's supposed to be. This is the way I'm envisioning it. There's that light area right here that's kind of like her shoulder. And I don't want to take that away because that's giving some nice interest to the way her fur is moving around like that. That's how I'm viewing it. That's how I'm viewing it. Yova says, I grew up with dogs, became a cat person, and now petless. That's petless by choice or petless by happenstance? I'm a big proponent of, Yova, I was a cat person for 30 years before I got my dog. They are so different. They are different. Each fantastic in their own way, but totally different. Completely different. Yova, don't get chickens. You'll be hooked on chickens. I don't know if you have an area big enough for chickens, but chickens will take over your life and you'll fall in love with them. Okay. All right. I've been inundated with chickens, and it's fantastic. A chicken inundation. I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't even know if that's a possibility. I don't know if that's possible to do. Because it seems like every pet you had was sassy. They need to have some sass. That gives them some of their personality, right? Not all of it. Doesn't give them all their personality, but if they don't have any sass or any oomph to them, they're just a pet. It's that sass and that little bit of look at me, whatever, that gives them that personality that gives them all those human traits. Right? Without that, it's not that they're nothing, they're just not, or they're not, I don't want to say they're not quite as lovable even. That's because that's not true, but I don't know, they're not, they don't seem as human, right? You get that sassiness, and it seems just a little bit more human than everything else. That's the way I'm viewing it. Whoop. Oh, I just touched that, and I didn't want to just touch that. Lulu. That'll be okay. Oh, look at Lulu. Okay, cool. Lulu. Oh, you look so good. Oh, my God. I just noticed something. I haven't changed my brush once. I've been using the same brush the entire time. I don't even know which one this is. All the paint is... There's the paint. It's all worn off. That's how much I use this one. I guess it's safe to say this one is my favorite brush, right? Okay, let's see what we got here. We've got a nose that we need to paint. And Lulu, I'm going to make your nose just a little darker than everything else. And part of it is, yes, that this part of your nose is kind of in the shade here, but that's okay. It's in deep shadow, but we'll work on that. Give you a bit of a, let's give your nose some color on this side too, huh? I want your nose to stand out a little bit. Maybe we'll allow for a little highlight right at the top up here. Right up here, but for the most part I want that to be dark. Let's see, Sunny said, oh wait, Sudika says, my Siamese cat and boxer would give me the side eye. the side eye not when you did something stupid, when you did something they thought was a little questionable. Maybe. Let's say it that way. They give you the side eye. My coworker's dog just passed. She is so sad. She said she won't be getting another pet because it's too hard to lose them. Yeah, that's my neighbor said that same thing. And that makes me sad because, I mean, I get it. I totally get it. But then you miss out on so much. There's so much enjoyment you can have with your pet before they pass. And it's only hard because you end up loving them. You fall in love with them so much. Right? If they weren't so lovable, if we didn't care so much, it would be easy, but it's not, because we do. Lulu, how's your nose? Your nose isn't cool. Something's not right with your nose here, Lulu. Come on. What are you doing? You need to come over here like this. I think if we just get a little highlight over there, you're probably going to be okay, and you'll be you're as good as anything. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that. 10 Light Star is here. Hello, Light Star. How cute, Michael. Have you been painting long, or is it a new hobby? Great question. I've been painting for forever. I don't know how long, 25 years. Just playing around with it. I don't claim to be a professional. I just claim to enjoy it. Oh no, stop. I started, like I said, a long time ago, not in a galaxy far, far away, but started a long time ago just as a way to break the monotony, undigitalize my life a little bit, do something a little different, and just kind of stuck with it. It worked out for me, that it was something I liked. My wife supported this for me as a hobby, and just became something I do. I've had some success. I'm not going to say I'm the greatest artist in the world. Never claimed to be. I just claim to be somebody who enjoys doing it. I would love to pass on my enjoyment of it to anybody who's willing to accept that. Because I really enjoy it. Without watercolor painting, I think my life would be much less rich than it is now. And I would love to pass on to other people some of the fun and enjoyment I've had with it, which is part of the reason why I do these streams. I do enjoy them, but I want to give back. I want to make sure that people see that watercolor painting is an accessible thing. It's not necessarily a super difficult thing. Anybody can do it, and it's fun, and you can enjoy it, and whatever. And so part of this whole trip of mine is I guess you'd say trying to spread some watercolor love. And if I can do that, fantastic. And if I can't, well then, I hope at least anybody who watches any of these videos at least comes away with a little greater understanding of what watercolors is and how to paint them. And if that's all they get, then that's probably going to be good enough. But they're fun. I really enjoy watercolors. And like I said, I've been doing it for, almost 25 years now, something like that, a long time. I am not classically trained. Everything I've done, save for a couple of classes that I didn't think were worth really the money, I've taught myself. Does my wife paint watercolors? She does not. She probably could. She's an actual artist, and she'd be upset with me saying that, but she went to art school to learn how to do a lot of things, and she is quite good in her own right, but painting is not where she wants to be as an artist, so she just follows different interests. But I think she probably could do some really interesting things if she wanted to. Oh, Lulu. Great questions. I started just on my kitchen table at night. Did you watercolor in grade school? No, I didn't watercolor until I was probably 30 before I ever picked up watercolors. I wasn't much for any kind of art in grade school or high school. This wasn't a big thing for me. You know, that's kind of what it was. It wasn't a big thing in my household growing up. Nothing to that other than, you know, that's what it was. And as a result, I didn't delve into art in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, like I said, I didn't have any interest in doing anything like this until about 25 years ago. So about 2000, maybe 2002 or something like that. Might be when I picked it up, but somewhere around there. Somewhere just after the millennium. Anyway, and I've told the story plenty of times. I just did it for me. I never thought anybody would ever see any of the work I did. I didn't try to do anything special. I just kind of did my own thing. I did it all on, or almost all of it, on little tiny notebooks. And when I was done, I'd put my little tiny notebooks away. I would do pictures that were, you know, like this big, like the size of Lulu's ear, or, you know, maybe not much bigger than that. Very, very small. I didn't know whether I should paint large. I didn't know whether I should paint small. I had no idea, because it wasn't something I had ever had any formal training in. And you can see that in how I paint now, because as you have just seen, I move my page all over the place to put my page where I want it to be, rather than move my hand in my brush, which is something that you'll do more if you're probably a little less formally trained in watercolors. Not necessarily, but likely. And what else do I need to say there? I don't know. Did I answer your question? I asked because watercolors were a requirement for my parents to buy for us in grade school. I thought every kid had to have watercolors. Oh, I remember taking an art class in high school, not grade school, and doing a mixed media painting, of which watercolors was a portion. But I don't ever remember having purchased a tin of watercolors, or ever having a tin of watercolors around any time growing up. Yeah, just one of those things. Like I said, I don't have any recollection of watercolors in my life in any way, much of any way, shape, or form, until I was 30. Did you ever study abroad? No. Nope. The closest thing to study abroad I did was I grew up in Ohio, and I took a class at a school in Michigan one time. That was as close to being abroad as I ever got. It's not really very far abroad. It's over the border, but probably not the border most people think of. Natalie says, I took a lot of art classes in school in the 70s, but watercolors were barely covered. There you go. We just never, it never was a thing. I wonder if, in grade school, I remember more, in art class, I remember doing more acrylics than watercolors. I wonder if it has something to do with the cost of it, that in today's day and age we're more willing to do, oh man, I'm dripping, to do watercolors because it's more cost effective. I don't know. Sidika says, my Catholic elementary school required us to have a small pack of Crayola crayons. Interesting. Ooh, I would love to do done crayons. Yova, your school supplied art supplies. So did mine. I've been off grid for the last 3 weeks. I missed you all. Sherry, welcome back. We missed you too. Natalie says, art is barely taught here. Art's being taught less and less, which is distressing. Not everybody's going to grow up and have something in the Smithsonian or in the Louvre or anything like that. That's okay. Art is such a good thing for your brain. Such a good thing for your brain. We need to keep it in the schools. Okay, Lulu, you're getting there. Look, she's getting there. We got a little work to do on her snout here. We're gonna get to that. A little work to do. It's not too much. Lulu, what do you think? Are you liking the way you're looking? I hope so. Lulu. I think we're doing a good job with you here. I think you would approve. I hope you approve. Let's see. Come on. Come on, Lulu. That's better. We just connected those couple of areas right there. It needed something. What I need is a clean brush, though. Let's pull some of that paint back. Clean brush. I need a clean brush. I feel as though something is changing in the garage here. Like the humidity level is changing or something is changing. Feels like my page is drying faster all of a sudden than it was 20 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago. Oh, we have more questions. Let's see. I grew up in a tiny town in farm country, but the taxes did provide for supplies. Our grade school art teacher tried to expose us to a wide variety of projects, right? CK says, I'm still a newbie. What's the crew part? Wait, when you were single before you met your wife, you never studied abroad. Bad joke, all right, yeah. Right. No, I've never had any interest in doing a whole lot of art. Like I said, never crossed my mind that it would be a thing I would like to do. Art was just a thing that people in France did. It wasn't something that somebody grew up in very rural farm country Ohio did on a regular basis, because there was so much other stuff to do, and that's just kind of how it was until it wasn't. I grew up, Natalie, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. I'm assuming, Natalie, since you said that's kind of when you grew up. Life was different back then. I think there are a few of us here in chat that kind of grew up in that same time frame. And life was distinctly different then than it is now. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It just was a different way of life. Different things happened. Different norms and values in how things ran. And yeah, I bet everybody's school definitely was run differently then than it is now. And I had, and I don't know if everybody has it now, an art class and a music class that I had to take, as well as my art and music. Had to take gym, had to take home economics, we had all kinds of stuff we had to take. I took a shop class, right? They were just all part of the normal curriculum that we all took. But none of it was anything I ever considered really doing. And this is still not something I do. This is just something I do. If that makes any sense at all. Sherry, we didn't have any art classes in school. We had things like cooking and home economics. Okay, cool. We had that in addition to Sherry. If I had the option to choose, I would have rather taken shop than home ec. I loved, let's see, Lightstar says, I loved music. I played piano for the first few years, then band up to 11th grade. I see. Now, I would have taken a band class or a music class if I could have. I was not allowed to. My mother would not allow me to take a music class because it would cause too much noise in the house. And she's probably right. I would have driven her nuts. Okay, let's see what we got here. As I'm looking at this, Lulu, you got a little mess going on here, Lulu. Let's see if we can clean you up a little bit here. Although you're not too bad. I'm going to get some black up here, some dark anyways, up here. You got some darker areas up here. Let's just kind of block some of this out. I don't want to get too close to your eye there, Lulu. I want to keep that nice brown color there. I'm happy to give you a little bit more of this dark as we go back towards your ear back here. Right, this is one of the nice things about painting animals that is terrible about painting people. Right, if I paint this dark on this side of Lulu's head and I don't paint it on the other side, it's fine. It's fine, you know why? Because she's a dog. But if I were to do a people portrait and I did that, it would look terrible. Everything would be off. It'd just be weird. You'd look at it every time and go, why does it look like that? It's so odd. It's so odd. I think it looks better with that little bit of dark back here. Oh, Lulu, you're getting there. You're totally getting there, Lulu. We're going to make a good picture out of you yet. Oh, Lulu. Oh, she looks so good. Oh, look at that face. Oh, Lulu. Look at her face. Give a little bit of dark right down. Oh, come on. Give me some water on here. A little bit of dark right down here. I'm going to pull that down. Oh, look at her. Oh, Let's see. My older sister made it through Catholic school, high school. My younger sister and I started public school at the junior high level. Let's see. Now, this is my daughter was fortunate enough to take a bunch of shop classes in high school. She learned a lot of handy things. Let's see. And Lightstar says, I played the flute starting around the third grade, and then I got into middle school. We had a lot of people playing the flute, so my band teacher asked if some of us would switch to drum or something else. Yeah. Is Lulu your dog? Yes. Yes. Sherry, Lulu was my dog. Lulu has since passed, but yes, Lulu was my dog, and she's pretty she was pretty fantastic. I'll give the legend of Lulu here again. Lulu came to us from the Humane Society. My wife and kids used to volunteer there quite a bit, and found Lulu there at some point. And Lulu was too adorable to leave there, and so they brought her home. She lived with us for about 5 years or 6 years until she passed. When we got her, she was 9, or we think she was about 9. I'm just going to give Lulu some shadows here. I don't want Lulu floating in air. I'm going to try to do you right, Lulu. So she came to us, as nearly as a senior citizen. And she was the most fantastic little dog for the time that we had her. And she will always be remembered. The kids loved her. My wife loved her. I loved her. And she lived to a nice old age of, 15 or so. At which point she just got old. She didn't have any real health problems. She just was an aged dog. And as old dogs do, her body just kind of gave up the ghost. I don't know exactly where this should go. I guess I'll pull this out this way a little bit. Let's pull this over this way. I don't have a good reference for where this shadow line should go, but we're gonna just put something over here, and we're gonna call it good. She one of the funny things that she used to do, I don't know if anybody else's dog does this. I don't know that I really ever asked if anybody else's dog does this, but Lulu would, get up in the morning. I'd get up with Lulu in the morning, and we'd go out to allow her to, do her business. Let's take this up this way a little bit. Let's go maybe up to about there. So she would come out, and we'd walk across the street to the shrubs on the other side over of the street over there. I always tried to be a responsible dog owner, and took a little bag so I could clean up any mess that she made. She'd go over there, and it's so funny. She would run around in circles. Run around a circle, 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 and into her business. And towards the end of her life, she would go around about 20 times, and she'd get so dizzy she would almost fall over because she's going around in circles. I'm like, Lulu, what are you doing? I'm like, you need to relax a little bit. But I don't know if that's a dog thing. I grew up, like I said, I grew up in rural Ohio, and when we had 6 acres of property. When the dogs needed to go out, we just opened the door and let them out, and they ran around and then came back. So I never really watched dogs do their business. But Lulu was so funny, and she would sometimes spin around so many times that she literally would make herself dizzy, and she'd have to stop, get her balance, and then off she'd go again. Lulu, seriously. Relax. And you couldn't stop her. Because if you did, then she had to start all over again. Let's see. Yovis says, my school allowed you to take choir or band instead of gym. Oh, that's interesting. Lightstar said, I volunteered to play the drum. It was so much fun to play the drum because it was mostly boys. Oh, there you go. So sad the dogs have to go young. Yeah. My daughter had a short-legged pit bull from the pound at 6 months old. For some reason, my daughter's dog passed away at 8. Oh, yeah, that's too early. 8's way too early. Way too early. All right, I'm going to see if I can't get a little bit of dark on part of these eyes here. Give a little dark on a couple of areas here and here. Something. I'm just thinking if these were in the light or in shadow or whatever, where would they be a little darker? Up under the top there. Oh, I don't want to touch the shadow down on the bottom. I just touched it with my palm. That's probably one of the better shadows I've done, isn't it? I hate doing shadows, but that's probably a pretty good one. I actually think Lulu's kind of coming to life here. I want to do a little bit more under here. As I'm looking at it, I'm waiting for her eyes to dry a little bit. I was not fond of gym class. Sometimes I forget gym class we had. Yova, you hated it. You played the flute. I didn't play anything, but now I've got. Do I have it here? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ukuleles. Gotten kind of good at it. Not great. But I have fun playing ukulele. It's a nice little instrument. All right, let's give Lulu some color out here. We're getting close to the end. I guess, oh, you know what I didn't even think about is she's got whiskers on here. How am I going to put whiskers on her? After last week's fiasco trying to put on whiskers, I was not overly happy with the whiskers last week. How am I going to do that? Let's see, I'm going to take a little color out right about there. Give a little darker spot right in here. I'm just trying to give a little dark and a little light to add a little interest. Since we're not doing a whole lot of actual fur on Lulu, right? Her fur is pretty small, pretty minimal. So I want to do something that's going to add a little bit more interest to what we have here. I am going to do a little bit of fur around the edges, around the outside a little bit, but not too much. And yes, I'm kind of waiting for the her eyes to dry a little bit there. That's actually kind of apropos. Her eyes were kind of Watery in real life, too. What a shock, right? She was a pug. Who would have guessed that she had some watery eyes? Come on, brushes, stay over there. Okay, let's do the same. While we're waiting, let's mix up some of the same color. Let's do kind of the same thing we did last week. We'll just drop in a couple of hairs here and there, something to break up the monotony. Oh, you know what? I want to do a little bit on her ears still here too. Now it's Lulu, and I want to do a little bit here and a little bit there, and pretty soon it's going to be midnight local time before I go to bed, because I'm going to be doing a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit. A little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit, and pretty soon it's a lot of it. I think that's how that works. I don't know if you guys can even see what I'm doing. I'm just around the edges, putting on a little bit of a little bit of something. It's not much of anything. Just to break up any of those hard lines that are there, really. That's all I'm trying to do. Speaking of hard lines, I've got a tide line forming here, and it's about to disappear. That one and that one. They can both go away. There you go. Goodbye, tide line. I should talk to Tide. And go, hey, I have so many tide lines in my paintings. You guys should sponsor me. Just a couple of lines here and there. Come on, Lulu's eyes, dry up a little bit. I've never seen Sudoku. I've never seen that show. Did you see 8 Below with Paul Walker? Ooh, I don't know what that is. 8 Below? Sounds cold. I'm not sure what it is, but it doesn't sound warm at all. There's a reason I don't live in the Midwest anymore. It's too cold. I've become acclimatized to some warmer weather here, living on the West Coast. I don't think I could go back to. I mean, I could. I guess I could. Take a year or so to get used to it. I probably could get back to some warmer weather, but I don't want to. I like living here where it may not get very warm, but I know it's not going to get cold, which is a wonderful thing. I should say, I'm asking, I don't know. I don't follow national weather. I know it was very hot across the country. Yova, you have 2 ukes since you retired. All right. Sweet. Is it still hot everywhere across the country, or is it kind of cooled off now? Is it back to normal? Honestly, I don't know. Because like I said, I follow the weather here, and I probably should follow it some other places. I just don't. Here, Yova, I'll get mine. I'll show you a couple of mine. If you give me a second. If you can give me a second or two. There you go. Added a little bit of brown into her ears to warm them up just a little bit. I think that looks nice. I mean, it may not be exactly what it's supposed to be, but I think it looks nice. This is probably going to be a mistake. Adding a little bit of blue in here. On the inside of her ear there. I don't know. It's cooled down. Sudoku says it's cooled down here in Chicago. We've been in the upper 70s the last few days. Okay, cool. So it's gotten a little better. It has gotten better. Upper 70s is better than upper 90s. And honestly, when I say I don't know what it's like, I live in a very protected area, and it's very, very, it's almost climate controlled here. If we get into well, here where I live, but it's very close to the water. If it gets into the 70s, something has gone wrong. But where I work inland a ways, our summers here are in the mid to upper 70s. You know, just perfect. I hate to say it, but pretty perfect. Oh, look at that sad eyeball. Oh, why do pugs always look sad? Lulu, don't be sad. Look at her. You put the eyes on, and immediately the eyes add so much personality to whatever you're doing. Look at her. Ooh. Like a sad doggy. Oh. Dwayne says, comfy here in Alabama for 2 days due to a cold front, probably back to heat and humidity tomorrow. Ay, ay, ay. Phoenix, you're down in the reasonable 90s. I don't know what that means. That sounds horrible. Oh my God. In the 90s. Lightstar says, I grew up in the Midwest, south of Minnesota. Okay, and around this time of year, we used to be in the 60s back in the day. Dwayne, you miss Monterey. Okay, give me a second while I'm waiting for Lulu's eyes to dry. Hold on. I get my two favorite ukuleles. 1, 2. All right. Some of you may have seen this one before. Hui. I can't play without the strap on. I don't know what that is. Anyway, here it is. Check it out. Enya ukulele. I love it. It plays a little tinny. I don't know. But I love this ukulele. It sounds great. It's easy to play. And then its bigger brother. Look at this one. Boom. That's just an electric pickup, so I can plug it into the amp. Anyway, I love this one. It's carbon fiber. It's real thin. I don't know if you can see. It sounds fantastic. Love it. And ouch. And that's the extent of my musical knowledge. Denver has had a couple of cool days. Oh man, I just knocked over my little water bottles and they fell in the water. Denver has had some cool days. What's a cool day in Denver? Less Paul-ish. It is kind of Les Paul-ish. I actually want Les Paul. There is a Les Paul ukulele, and I really wanted to get it, but it's pricey. Door Country. My mom talked about going to Door Country. She said she wanted me to go with sometime, but I never got to go. I hope you get to. Will you ever get to? Can you get to? I don't know. Denver had been hot. I bet they're enjoying a cool down. Everybody gets to enjoy a little cool down. I will tell you here, like I said, we don't get a whole lot of heat here, but it has been in the morning. You can definitely tell that fall is in the air. Fall is definitely in the air here in the mornings. It is much cooler than it has been. And I should say, I didn't tell you guys this before. Blueberry, poor Blueberry. Blueberry started to molt. She lost her tail. Blueberry lost her tail. She looks so funny without a tail. No tail. Okay, just a couple of spots where I think we want to put the indication of some fur on there. Right, a little bit of indication of some fur. Not a lot. And I guess I will try with this brush to do some This is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. Give me a test piece of paper. All right. Sorry, Lulu. Oh, that's what I don't want. I don't get it. I don't get the pressure right, and it comes out with this big clunky thing. And now I've got to try to get that off. Don't stay there. Oh, see, Lulu, I'm sorry. This was going well until I screwed up your... I just noticed up here. That's not quite dark enough. I have, this is a graphite pencil. This is a black pencil. Maybe we can do that. It's not really dark enough. Yeah, it'll probably be okay. All right, Lulu, back to your eyes. I don't want to do too much. And Yovis' lovely sound. I'm assuming you're talking about the ukulele, not me. The sound of me is, maybe not quite as lovely as the sound of the ukulele. They do have a fantastic tone to them. They're both Enya ukuleles. Anybody who likes ukuleles, they're Enya ukuleles. I think they're fantastic. I think Enya makes the best ukuleles. Not that I know anything at all about ukuleles, I will admit. But they do make some fantastic ukuleles. Okay. I don't want to do much more than this. I gotta wait for her eyes to dry so I can put a highlight on there. Lulu's ears look great. Who said that, Sherry? Thank you. Let's see. Suduka says, 10 light, if I were younger and I had the money, I'd get myself a truck, camper, and be on the road. It does sound like fun. I'm gonna before we're officially done with this, I'm gonna sign this over here because we're close. I'm gonna sign it there because I have yet to do her highlights on her eyes, but we can talk about the goods and the bads until then. Okay, so the good thing about Lulu here is it does kind of have her general look. All right, there's some bad things here too. But saying with the good, I like how the legs are back behind the body you can see she's hunched over it like this, right? Hunched over it. And the back ones look like they're further back. The front ones look like they're more in front. The highlights on the front help to bring them forward. I like the general shape of her body, her mouth here. I just think maybe I missed a little bit on her eyes here. I don't know if it needs to be darker or if it needs to be browner. I'm not sure. I'd go in and change it if I knew what I wanted to do with it. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with it. I'm really not. Maybe, let's see. If I do this and it fixes things, maybe we'll know exactly what we need to do here. I'm just not, honestly, I'm not exactly sure what to do to fix the side of Lulu's face here. Not sure what would be the appropriate thing. That's not bad. Oh, that makes her look even sadder. Oh, she's like, oh, come on. You must know what's going to help. Make me look better. Let's see. I can give a little bit more up here. I'll give a little bit up here. I don't want to take away all of the light that's up here, but maybe we did need a little bit more warm to go with that cold around her eyes. That might help a little bit. It might help a little bit. Does that draw a little bit? That draws a little bit more attention to her head there. A little bit more. We can do that over here too. But aside from a few little things like right around her eyes, which we're kind of fixing at the moment, I like the way it turned out. I do like her ears. Actually, I'm glad I put that little bit of warm on her ears. I could have pushed the ears a little further, made this one over here totally a bit darker. I could have made this one a bigger transition from light to dark to back to light over here. Would that have made a big difference? I don't know. I don't think so. But it may have helped a little bit in just adding some additional detail. Would it strictly be necessary? I don't think so at all. I don't think we're gonna miss it if it's not there. I do. I like her little paws down here. I think the paws, they're a little cartoonish, but that's okay. I think they work. They're cute. I think they add to some Lulu-ness. If I can make up my own word, some Lulu-ness down there. And anything that adds a little Lulu-ness to this, I think, is a good thing. Her nose is interesting. Once I got that black on there and it started to dry, I didn't want to do too much with it. Actually, I should probably just pull this out a little bit. I didn't want to do too much with it because it's got some interesting, it looks like it's got some interest to it as it wobbles. So I didn't want to, as it wobbles, as it's got some wave to it. So I didn't want to do too much with it and mess that up. So I'm okay with it being a little lighter than everything else. And it draws your attention right into her nose right there, right? That's kind of where you want the center of attention to be on your dog, is right on his nose, right? Oh, look at Lulu. Let's give Lulu a little highlight on her nose there too. Oh, look at those eyes on her. And for once, and I have no idea if that would be the right shadow pattern or not, I don't think it matters. I like the shadow that she's sitting on right there, right? She's sitting on something. You can see the cast shadow. The cast shadow kind of makes sense. This leg coming out, that one coming out, this one following that leg, and the rest of her body here. You can kind of see it, kind of makes sense. I'm going to go with it. I don't know. And that's about it for Lulu. All in all, I think it's a pretty good. Where are you at, Lulu? There she is. Look, that's what she looks like, or looked like in real life. And where's she at? That's what she looks like in watercolor painting. So, all in all, I think a pretty good job. I'm going to go with that. Sherry, did you do the inside work, or did you buy it already done? Oh, you're talking about the camper, or the camper. Let's see. I'm assuming camper. Anyways, the Chevy Express. Okay. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys this week. That's my dog Lulu, my old dog Lulu. I think she looks fantastic. I'm so glad that whoever suggested we do animals or fur or feathers or however we came about doing this, that I got to do a whole month's worth of painting my old pets, because it gave me a chance to go down memory lane, and I had a great time doing it. So I want to thank you guys for joining me on that journey. I hope you had a good time with me. I'm not sure what we're going to do next month as far as a challenge or as far as a theme. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I'd be happy to take them into consideration. I do know what I want to do for October, so that's coming up. Not necessarily a Halloween theme, but it's tangentially related. We're going to be doing cryptids. Or mythical kind of animals that might be alive but maybe aren't quite alive. It kind of ties into Halloween, but not really. But it'll be fun to do anyways. So be on the lookout for next month's challenge. That's coming up soon. But if you have any suggestions, put it down below in the comments or put it in Discord, and I'll be certain to take that into consideration. Until then, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I hope you're able to join me back here again next week when we do another painting and have some more fun doing it. Until then, thanks so much for joining me. Bye-bye.